We're halfway through School Psychology Awareness Week, and I hope you're gaining some positive insights on what these amazing professionals really do. For day 3, I headed to Pointe Elementary to talk to school psychologist Elizabeth Kinney. She focused a little bit more on what the students' side of things look like for them and how evaluating the students really helps the students and their parents.
It's one of those things that I feel you can get so much information just on your interactions, just meeting the student for the first time and bringing them to your office and having that initial conversation about what it is that they like and they don't like about school, what's really easy or what's difficult. But then luckily we also have a bunch of different assessment pieces that we can do, and so I tend to build my assessment as I'm working with a child. Obviously, if we have concerns about reading, I will make sure I look in the reading area. But sometimes we have students who are having behavior concerns, so I may start in one area and kind of let that data inform what the next assessment piece is that I'm going to use. So I also think it's important to highlight children's strengths. So I've never worked with a child, I've never done an evaluation where everything has been an issue, And so sometimes the best part of an evaluation is being able to look at a parent and say, do you know how amazing your child is at this? And allow them, especially a child who's having difficulty in the classroom or in the school setting or doesn't like school, to really highlight some of those strengths and to try to play off those so that we can best meet their needs. Definitely, and I've actually found that even being called a psychologist makes parents a little weary at first, that I'm gonna, have a couch and lay their student down and, ask them all sorts of Freudian kind of questions. And so I think one of the best things that I can do is have that initial meeting with the parent and to kind of really describe that what I'm doing is just trying to get as much information as I can about their child so that we can do the best as a school team to meet their needs and to figure out where they are. And to really kind of not focus so much on what the end result is, so whether there's a diagnosis there or whether it means that special education is involved, but really just kind of focusing on your child is having some difficulty right now, and I know as a parent that's frustrating, so let me help come in and try to get some more information so that we can make it less frustrating for you and more successful for the student here at school. Some of our students come in, especially if academics are very difficult for them, and so you're kind of setting them up to have some really difficult questions thrown at them. They're going to have to work on an area that is a weakness to them. So you've got to kind of play a balancing game. I have games that I kind of will stop and we'll take a break and we'll play Uno together. Or I have my younger kids, a lot of times I'll let them pick from a prize box. I always explain to the children at first that you're not in trouble, this is not a negative thing, and trying to kind of set them up with that knowledge that there are things that they do great and there are things that are more difficult, and that's okay. So really having a just very accepting environment, I think, helps. What we tend to always do with our assessment is to look at not just academic ability, but also what's going on social-emotionally with the child. So we may have a student who has very sound capabilities, but they're not achieving where they should be. And that may be because they've gone through something tough at home, or they're just not feeling very successful at school. So I do, especially with the older children, try to kind of get into their own self-concept. I have parents and teachers kind of rate what's going on with behavior. If a student's having difficulty paying attention, they may have the abilities to do more, but they're maybe falling short, I guess, in the eyes of the teacher because they're not able to sustain that attention and sustain that focus. So it's really important, I think, for us to look at our evaluations as more of like a comprehensive evaluation, not just, oh, this child has difficulties in class and reading, that's the only thing I'm going to look at. So it's really important to kind of look at all of those pieces and to talk to the student and kind of see where they perceive their strengths and weaknesses to be, because I think that tells you a lot as well. The most rewarding part of what I get to do is that one-on-one individual attention, and it's so individualized to what their need is, and so I think that's what makes us a little bit different than anybody else in the building. Our teachers do an amazing job, but they've got 20 kids at a time, and while they will give their students the attention they need, sometimes it takes just that one-on-one, being able to sit down. I don't have another class that's waiting to come in, so I'm able to really stop my day. And there have been days that I have come with a list of things I was going to do that day, and I've ended up spending the whole day in classrooms or with students because that's where they needed me to be. So I've got that flexibility, which I think is really nice.